The debate is wrong. It is not property versus shares versus business. It is structure versus ego. $100,000 feels like freedom. In reality, it exposes your weaknesses. If you are disciplined but impatient, shares will punish you. If you are ambitious but undercapitalized, property will trap you. If you crave autonomy but lack sales ability, business will humble you. We have watched investors deploy 100K three ways. Same market, same year, different outcomes. The winners did not chase returns. They matched capital to skill. The losers chased narrative. This is not about upside. It is about fit. There is a positioning framework most ignore. It has nothing to do with headlines. Dave, if someone has 100K today, with which path destroys the most wealth?
It's a really interesting one because that one does depend as well. We obviously see a number of businesses that start up there with 100K of capital or less that have gone extremely well. Some haven't gone so well. In the property market, yeah, things are getting a little bit better now, but I've seen a lot of wealth being destroyed with that too. Shares doing that, but I've seen the most wealth destroyed with some people buying crypto at its peaks as well. So people get a bit distracted and try to do a bit of everything, sort of spread their bets. They become a jack of all trades, master of none, and that can also be its own risk. It's better to be an expert and have that mastery of a topic. Yeah. So I'm sitting a bit on the fence there with which is the best there, but I actually wonder if the answer could be property, it could be shares, it could be business, but which is the worst? Inaction. The failure to take action is by far the worst there. I know a very successful person there quite close to me that's too afraid to do shares, property, business or anything, so they invest in term deposits. They have very high income in the top 1% by a country mile, and they just invest in term deposits. So they get their 4-point-something%, then get it eroded by inflation, which is a smidge above 3%, and paying tax on it, the top tax rate too. What's their actual return? Well, it's actually a negative return. Yeah, not very smart.
If we go back to when you're 20, Dave, you get given 100K, probably the first thing you're going to do is try to leverage on that to get it to $1 million. Now,
leverage. I didn't have that, but I was at 20. I was running. I was at Auckland University, done my law and science degrees, and I was running a student education entertainment company. So I made tens of thousands. So I didn't have 100K by the time I left, but I got close to it there. I got sick of being a poor student.
So the first thing that you invested into was business.
Yes, that's correct. Business.
Okay, so let's say you got 100K, or you're trying to get to 100K.
Okay, yeah.
Business was the unlock for you to become an investor.
Yep, absolutely. I had a few shares, to be perfectly honest, that I'd taken on board since I was 13, but that was very small cash to do it. It's business there that helped do it and helped to generate deposits for property.
And how do you use leverage on the business sense? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to borrow, but if you're buying a business or starting a business with 100K, how do you make it go further?
Sure, you need to use other people's money, other people's time. If you've got a good idea, if you've got the know-how, the initiative, the ability to actually pitch and communicate what that is, be able to demonstrate why it's a safe and great objective there, and use your skills to inspire people, they'll invest with you. They'll believe in you and what you can do. And then the better you are at doing it, and by standing by what you've done there, make sure that you haven't overpromised and under-delivered, that's when people will back in and repeat it and keep you going, get you more money that way. That's how you start to build up your business, that you can use other people's money. They will lend it to you. They'll take equity from you, some joint ventures, partnerships, call them what you want. It might initially have to be some friends and family to get that through. But yeah, there are lots of businesses that can be done. There's some people that start businesses literally from when they're staying at home. Sometimes their businesses, software as a service, tech businesses there that have very low cost and very high margins. Those are some businesses there that are easy to scale up. It's all about being relevant, something that people want. And that's one of the exciting things about business that I wish more Kiwis would shackle off the conservatism and being afraid of risk that's taught, unfortunately, in the education system, to actually encourage that entrepreneurial spirit to get out there, take that risk, and not be afraid of failure. It's okay to fail. It's worse to not try.
And if you're going to help your kids, you got to give them 100K each. You're going to say, go and turn that into $1 million in the next 10 years. Which direction are you going to kind of edge them towards? Is it going to be shares or property or business?
Historically, it's been property to do it, because property's been a bit of a sure thing there. However, there's lots of concerns now that the envy tax being put on by the Labour Party is really hurting the psyche as well. It's helping scare people and drive them in spades to Australia, and I really find that despicable what Labour's doing there. They're causing this migration outage there as well, and this envy tax doesn't do anything to want to bring back people there that want to have a bit of prosperity, but I hope to know that when they want to get a beach house or maybe get a rental property there, that's to try to provide for their financial future and not be a leech off the state, they're going to get spanked for it. They're going to be having huge taxes. It's disgusting policy, and so property has that shadow looming over it. Maybe interest deductibility will come back in. That has not been ruled out by Leda Hipkins or Barbara Edmonds, the Minister in Finance, Shadow Minister of Finance. So property might not be the right way. It does have some leverage advantages to do it, and it does have the fact that it is bricks and mortar. It's there and it's stable. So I just wonder if you try to take that, and it might be better to consider putting that in business. It's not for every personality type. You mentioned that in your intro about you have to be able to work with yourself, spend some moments alone for some periods of time there, be able to have that clarity of thought and that discipline to execute it. That's not for everybody. We unfortunately have been training out that entrepreneurial spirit for too long. Cheers. What was mention what would have happened if you had 100,000 10 years ago and you put that into NVIDIA, into Palantir, into AMD, numerous other stocks that I could reel off there. Over $1 million, right? Cha-ching. That's pretty interesting with some of the results as well. I'm not a fan of crypto, for those that have heard me on the podcast too, so I don't invest in it. I realize that some have done really well with timing and things like that, and there are always some lovers of that have done great out there. Something like gold last year, if you bought that 1st of January, 2025, what was it worth at 31 December? Well, you saw some huge gains there. So it skyrocketed up there, some 70% returns there. That's some interesting stuff. Don't pick that year on year for sure. That one's pretty interesting.
Chalk that up to luck, not skill, if that's happened to you.
Exactly, I think so. There are some gold and silver hawks out there, and I think there's certainly a place for it in a portfolio. It's just that it's a minor place. It doesn't make any money. There's no cash flow from it, and potentially you want it physically, and you got to be mindful of storage insurance risks for it too. So few little things there, but yeah, acknowledge that that many people have done well out of that, and there's a place for it. But in a growth portfolio, I'm leaning towards business. I want to see more people get out there, take that entrepreneurial risk, and to grow there, to seek money, seek capital as well, partner with others if they need to, get some businesses that are up and running. For some, it might be buying an existing franchise business with great systems and procedures that they can follow. It's got all sorts of support around you. For others, it'll be something a bit more bespoke to do it. Some, there might be professional students there worried about AI taking up their jobs and things. Well, hey, maybe it's time to leave before you get told to leave anyway, and have some extra dignity and taking that punt and controlling what you can do, shaping your own financial destiny and future.
Even if you don't buy a property, save 100K, what that gives you the ability to do is switch from PAYE to being a contractor, get a little bit more time freedom,
Yes,
and you can start paying for courses and qualifications that will upskill you to be able to justify working less for the same amount or charging more.
Yep, that's a big problem in New Zealand, the productivity gap there. We used to be more productive than the average American, sort of one in the clock back 30 years, but going to 1990, we were earning more per hour than the average Australian and has higher GDP per capita than them. Things haven't gone so well in the last 35 years or so. A little bit of a shame because we've got so much talent here, but we aren't doing things in the right way. We need to make the changes there to get more productive and to have the focus on high tech, high value things there as well. That's how the economy will get better, and property will come along for the ride when that happens too.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a business owner very recently in his mid-50s that had kind of still got the ambition to keep growing the business, but not the energy. And when the choices came, he would choose fishing or golf over going and borrowing more money to expand the business. And
absolutely,
for young generation, I think if you really want to maximize your wealth, buying into business is a great choice. But also, if you're already older and own a business, the best returns you might ever get is lending the money to the next generation to slowly buy into your business.
Yep,
They'll
absolutely.
bring energy and
Vendor finance,
yeah.
maybe with a general security agreement or so to do it. There's some good ways to structure some deals to do it, to get that next generation there. They've got the energy, the ideas, and the passion there to help do it. I think that's a really smart thing to do. If you can't do it within a family business, they might not be the best people to run it, and that's okay. You need to realize that and then find the right people to do it, because it's not always your family members that actually are the right people to do it and to take it forward.
And what about the tax side of things? Should we be setting up an investment vehicle right from the beginning to maximize returns, or it's not a big deal?
On the micro level, it's probably better to set the vehicle up there. If you have it the wrong vehicle, particularly if you have things in your own name, you expose yourself to all sorts of risks, including in a business, the risks of director liability there. We have a separate legal personality for the company, as long as you're not trading insolently and recklessly, etc. But things like the if investment vehicles, when you're building it up, it is good to consider things like the portfolio investment entities or the pies net. But on just 100K, you can have your fees shoot up a little bit in legal and accounting fees to do it. So you might want to get a bit more money than
if
that.
you back yourself and you know it's going to be good, then
You
set
should
it up
do it.
properly
Then you
from
should
the
do it
beginning.
there
Yeah.
as well.
Maybe wait
Yeah,
till you get
send
to
a
$1
few
million.
people there probably would suggest $1 million threshold there. So send a few too many people that have some great plans there, and it takes them a little while to get there, because some can take that 100,000 and turn it into $1 million within 2 years. Others might take 20 years. Others might not get there.
From the guy that's built his wealth through property, insights on saying get into business, and that's going to be the way forward.
Property's still good. It's just that will it be as good in the last 30 years as it has been in the past? My concern is no. What's the growth rate been since 1 January 1992? I think there was 6.7%. I think literary economist Kelly Ecold was giving those figures out. And the concerns about this in the future projections are maybe we don't have the right settings. Maybe migration is going to be a little bit tougher as our productivity gaps down. Maybe the tax policy is going to be a bit tighter as well. So potentially we might be looking at it more like a 4.5% per annum growth rate.
I still think that'll be generous, yeah.
Yeah, on the new builds that many retail ones, so it might be lower, like 2% there as well. No, you might say negative 2%, but yeah, on the new builds they'll have a lower growth rate. So obviously they're sold at a premium. They may have some temporary Labour Party tax advantages if they do the interest deductibility trick when they eventually get back in. But yeah, 4.5% per annum. It's healthy only because the leverage will still be there. The banks still make a lot of money. They're still influential there and have some levers with policy setting and in terms of financial stability. So they'll want to get a return for doing it, and that return's likely to be over the inflation rate. They have to have something on the cost of capital, don't they? So it's just that with the ability to, I guess, do the fractional reserve banking hypothecation, they're able to make more money and to lend it and run some small figures. They can still run a business model at that, but at some level where they're not making more than 1% over the inflation rate, that becomes a little bit of a problem. So I think the growth rate's likely to be at least lower, but at least 1%.
You've got a spot opportunity. There's a lot of older business owners that don't have anyone to sell a business to. Especially there's a lot of businesses that are smaller, 3 to 5 people, still owner operated, that a transitional succession plan makes a lot more sense than some handover. So yeah,
exactly. Rationalization, consolidation of industries, changing lines, differences. Yeah, how will technology impact them? There's so many things there. There's so many opportunities in business. Property's still great, but it's just that it's a lot harder. And it's not as easy to make money, so I'm not going to recommend that to as many people to do it. And of course, for some of the older people there, it has liquidity issues. When you want to sell it, you can't. It's a little bit harder to get the big fat revolving credit accounts with the high facility limits. So potentially property isn't as strong as that. I still like it. I still love it.
For now, capital gains looks like it's coming on property and not on business. So you got to look where you can make the dollar and not get taxed on it.
It would be on both as well. And then watch the exemption as a family trust. You're going to get capital gains tax there. What if you run an Airbnb in it? Do you have a home office? There'll be so many questions on this one as well.
Appreciate your insights today, Dave. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Capital is like dating in your 20s. Waste it casually and you will regret it. 100 grand is optionality. The question is whether you deploy it with intention or nostalgia. Pick your lane, then commit.